There we go.
What's up, sir?
There we go. There we go. Let me give you a proper introduction, King. For those who is just tuning in, this is the FloWay Show live. My guest tonight, he's one of the greatest songwriters and producers we have ever seen in music. All right, when it comes to R&B, he stands behind it firmly, holding it down for 30 plus years. I thought it was 25, and I had to go back and look. And I was like, oh, shit, it's 30 plus years. Wow. And when I think of the GOATs, right, you know, we think of the GOATs and we think of music. We think of people like Quincy Jones. We think of people like Barry Gordy, Teddy Riley, Babyface, and, of course, this guy that's right in front of me. He's the CEO of Songbook Entertainment. He's worked with and helped build the careers of many of your favorite artists, including Boyz II Men, B2K, Tyrese. He's worked with the late greats Aretha Franklin, Whitney Houston, and of course, he's helped build the career of Trey Songz and many more. He's known as the mayor of R&B. If you're watching live, show some love in the comments for Grammy Award-winning producer Troy Taylor, my brother. Thank you, man.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
I try to get it all in one breath.
Yeah, good. It's all good.
I try to get it all in one breath, man. How are you, my brother? How you feel?
I'm pretty good, man. And like it's so weird because I think I just became an influencer. I'm not sure. I think I transitioned into this new generation.
The hats keep piling up for you. I see that, and I follow you, and I see that the hats is kind of.
Yeah, I went on a mission January 1st to just turn it up a little bit more, and to get myself in position to be able to matter to this generation.
And you're absolutely doing that. We're going to talk about that tonight. You know, this is our first conversation. I'm excited. You know, it's a perfect time to have the conversation, like I was saying earlier. Valentine's is this week, you know what I mean? Early this week, people are still celebrating, and that's facts. You have been influenced for a long time.
Well, this generation's like the social media influence.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
yeah.
See, and you know, it's our first time ever talking, and you know, a lot of people may not know your backstory, and how you got to where you are, and how you become this super producer that we know. So I want to tap on that history for a little bit. It's cool.
Yes.
Cool. So, you know, you grew up in Hartford, Connecticut.
New Haven, Connecticut.
New Haven. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Someone got that wrong.
Well, because I went to school, after I graduated high school, I went to Hartford Conservatory.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. New Haven, right up there from the Bronx, not too far from the Bronx. That's where I'm from, New York.
Okay.
You started out singing in groups. You know, take us back to kind of like what's happening at this time, and what kind of sparked you to like pick up the mic in the first place?
Well, I mean, music is in my family. My dad was a musician. My granddad was a musician. My mom sang. So it was already in me. I think when I attended high school and doing the talent shows, that's what really got me, because I don't think I knew anything else I wanted to do. It's always been music. It's always been since I was little. It's always been music. And so, you know, finding myself in groups and stuff in high school, that just started becoming my thing.
Okay. So I'm gonna kind of breeze through it, right? So you're in high school, you're picking up music, you're in groups, and then you kind of go solo at some point.
Yeah. So I was the kid that everybody, you know, my mom would come home and everybody's in my room, funky. There's a lot of people in there playing the music loud, and it's so crazy because the way it is now is the way it was then. And I didn't know that it would end up being the way, you know what I mean? It was starting. So I got to a point where, you know, I'm older now, I'm 19, and the group I was in wasn't working out, and the girl I was with wasn't working out, and it was just like, I gotta do something. I gotta do something. So by the time I was 20, I ended up signing this horrible record deal, being anxious, trying to move too fast because I was upset. I just wanted to leave. I just wanted to go. And the record deal was terrible. I didn't use an attorney. It was just bad. It was just all bad. And I tell this part of the story because I want people to understand being anxious and moving too fast will mess you up. Ironically, because I worked at record stores and read credits, I had a lot of names in my head, you know, of people who I would love to meet. And so with having that record deal, that awful record deal, I ended up meeting through the record company asking me who did I want to get to mix my record. I ended up meeting Timmy Regisford, who I already had at the top of my list to meet. And when I met him, we just bonded immediately. He went through all my cassettes of music, and we just connected, and he ended up buying me out of that horrible contract and signing me to Motown. So by this point, I'm 21. I moved to Brooklyn, and then February 11th, 1990, it's on.
And that's super, super dope, because most of the time you don't, and that time, was it common for people to be buying people out deals, or it was like,
no,
that deal, peace, let me go find the next guy who...
No, I didn't understand. I didn't know that was going to happen. I didn't know the possibilities of that happening. He did know the deal that I was in was bad. And he found me to be worthy of buying me out. And it was incredible. I got all my masters back. I got my music back. I got my publishing back. It was terrible. It was a bad deal, but he bought me out.
If you're at home and you having a sip, what's his name again?
Timmy Regisford.
Let's take a shot for him.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I always make sure I
make a shot for him.
Yeah. Yeah, I make sure he knows. He's not really social media type person, but he's still a DJ. He was a great A&R, a great musician. A great executive. I didn't have many mentors growing up. It's ironic because I become the mentor of many, but I personally myself didn't have many mentors at all. Timmy was the one that taught me about song as far as like structure, making sure there was a good verse, a good hook. He would be the one that would definitely bring that to my awareness. So that was pretty much it. And the rest of it was mentors from LA and Face, Jammin' Lewis, Teddy Riley from afar. You know what I mean? Just
so how was that transition, right? From, because you were an artist first.
Yes.
But you debuted it to the world as a producer and a songwriter.
Right.
How did that transition kind of happen for you, where you kind of threw off one hat and picked up another?
Well, I while I was signed to Motown working on my album, and sidebar, one of my closest friends in the world, like my twin, I would say, because we're both Geminis, was with me at the time, and that's Carl Thomas. So he was right by my side the whole time. Even when I was working with Boyz II Men, Carl was right there. He was young Carl, but he was right there. And so as I was working with them and they come out and they blow up, I'm like, that feeling of completion. It was a feeling of completion. I didn't feel like I needed to be an artist. I sang backgrounds on them Boyz II Men records. I never even tell anybody that part, but I only did it because they were so young. Wanye was 15, Sean was 16, and Mike and Nate were 17. So they hadn't really been in the studio before. So I had to fill in and put my vocals in and everything. But I didn't know that I would have to do that because they were signed to a major label like Motown. I didn't know. I felt like anybody who was signed to Motown or signed period to a major label automatically knew how to do everything. Right. So the actual,
but that was already stamped and packaged and ready to go.
Yes. And so when I went in to work with them, And they had the demos already. They had my demos. So I didn't know that I'm supposed to tell them how to do it. So the Troy Taylor vocal producer I became, that I am now, started when I started listening to them messing up my song. And I'm like, oh, no, wait.
That's not the way it's meant to be done.
Yeah, no. Wait, you're flat. Do it again. Wait, no. And I'm thinking, I'm not supposed to tell them how to do this. They're supposed to know. But that's not how it went. So I started vocal producing because I had to guide them through it. And this is tape. This is not Pro Tools. This is not auto-tune. This is tape. This is the real thing. So every mess up, you had to stop, rewind the tape,
record over it,
and record it. Man, it was a lot. It was a lot.
We're talking about the big tapes, like the big tapes. Like,
yep.
Yep. Wow. So you started working with Boys. Was Boys the Men your first major placement?
Yes, it was.
Wow.
Officially, yes. I deemed them as my first major because I had did stuff earlier on, little things here and there, but that was my first like big thing, because when they became, when Motown Philly came out, it was like, yo, I'm on this album, like, wow. So yeah, I would say that's my first.
And back then, you had the albums printed in stores, the credit books, so you was able to be like, look, that's right there.
Yep. That's what I'm saying. That feeling of going to the record store and seeing my name was so fulfilling for me that I didn't feel like I needed to be on stage in the forefront. I felt like, you mean people can see me, hear me, and I don't have to be out there?
Right.
Oh, no, I don't want to do this. No.
But I can get stopped at Walmart a couple times. I might get stopped over here, but it's not like pandemonium. That's what you're saying.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Now, see, I've been behind the scenes all these years, and now that I'm a influencer, I go out places, and it's like, yo, Troy, you Troy Taylor, right? Yo, man, I'll be on your page all the time, and I'm like, yeah, that's me. It's weird. It's weird because I'm used to going places and just living and chilling. Mm-hmm. But they ain't like that now. So yeah.
So
it's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I just got to get used to it.
Mm-hmm. I want to kind of shift gears a little bit. Because this question is killing me to ask you, and I don't want to forget it. Like I mentioned earlier, you collaborated with two of the greatest vocalists we've ever heard.
Mm-hmm.
Aretha Franklin, and I've seen that clip that you posted a while back, and how she talked so great about you and working with you.
Which, by the way, I didn't discover that till 2012.
That's crazy.
And that was in 2003.
Someone never sent that to you. Wow.
I never knew. Someone said, yo, that was pretty dope what Aretha said about you. And I'm like, what do you mean? It's like, Aretha, she talked about you in an interview. I was like, when? It's like, yo, this was like 2000. I'm like, send it to me. My mind was blown. I had no idea that she mentioned my name in that interview. I never knew all these years.
Giving credit.
I didn't know. I didn't even get a chance to thank her because I didn't know about it.
Wow. But between working with Aretha, right, and Whitney, how can you reflect on those experiences and what they meant to you, as a producer, songwriter, just a goat in music? What do those moments?
First of all, let me just get one thing straight. You couldn't have told me in my earlier years that I was going to end up meeting Aretha. Never mind working with her. That was somebody. That's a queen. That's the queen. That's royalty. I'm like, I'm not worthy. Like, that's Aretha, and you know, she's for, you know, the Quincy Joneses and Aretha Martins, and you know, them. I'm not big enough to work with her. Like, I didn't have a clue that
It was not even on your bucket list, if you want to say.
She wasn't even on, because I would never dare insult her to put my, you know what I mean? Like, how dare I say I'm a producer Aretha? That ain't happening. But boy, go sit down somewhere.
It's like you in the living room, you know how you in the living room, you trying to say what your dreams is gonna be, and somebody like, boy, if you don't go to bed.
Yeah. So Aretha wasn't. Whitney or Aretha weren't never on. Whitney, Aretha, and the Isley Brothers was never on my meter of working with them. I didn't know that I was good enough to work with them. I didn't, you know what I mean? Not that I was bad. I just didn't think I was on that level. And working with Aretha taught me one thing. I see why she's the queen. Yo, let me tell you, I've worked with a lot of people, but that chick, and I say respectfully, I went to her house, and because she wanted to work at home, and they set up the booth in the dining room, and set up to work with her. And this woman gave me 6 or 7 tracks straight down, no stopping, and then walks out and goes, see what you can do with that. No reading paper, no lyrics. She knew the song from top to bottom, and she knew what she wanted to do. And each take she did was a variation. Like, so it was like 6, 7 tracks sitting in front of me, like, so I had to sit there while she go in the kitchen and cook. Yo, the fact that I'm even saying this is crazy. I was in Aretha Franklin house producing her, then she go in the kitchen and cook while I gotta sit through
after she laid the track down, she went and cooked
to let me sort it out. And she said, well, let me know what you need. And I'm like, this is not happening. And you know what? We didn't have this phone. We didn't have the iPhone. I didn't have an iPhone to document all of this. Okay, first of all, I didn't even know that there would be a such thing as an iPhone, and you would be able to see people while you're talking to them.
Right, this wasn't even talked about yet.
No, not even a little bit. So I didn't have those moments documented. I remember walking around. I needed to take a break because my brain was so messed up. Like, I needed to take a break. So I'm walking around her house, and Aretha was a hoarder, but not a bad hoarder, but just one that ordered off of TV a lot, and boxes everywhere, like a wig.
Everybody's aunties and grandmas. Okay.
She got the wigs on the floor. She got the gown she wore for that award show. And I know because I seen the gown, and I remember, oh, she wore that at the thing. She got all this stuff around, and I'm like, I order off of TV a lot too. As seen on TV. I'm a master, you know, at that time. So I seen a lot of stuff that I ordered. I'm like, Aretha, do you like this? How does this work? Did it work for you?
Because a lot of
stuff like that.
A lot of that shit don't work.
No.
You going to Walmart, you go to As Seen on TV aisle?
They work for me. You got to get the right stuff. Nope. I'm telling you, I'm an expert as Seen on TV. So when I saw the stuff, I would be like, Aretha, did this work for you? Like, do you like, oh, yes, I love that. You know, it's that kind of thing. So I'm just looking around, and then I look over by the dining room table, under the table. I'm not making this up when I tell you this. I look down on the floor, and there's a $20,000 ASCAP check on the floor. So I'm like, Aretha, you
got money up?
You know, there's a check on the floor for ASCAP. Mm-hmm. This is how she was. Everything was real passive. So she'd be, I know. So it'll be all right. Like,
you know that check gonna expire within a certain amount of time.
So now I'm getting comfortable. Probably a little too comfortable. I get a little bold. I see her Grammys up in the thing, and they're like tarnished. They're not polished or anything. So I'm looking like she don't really care about these Grammys. So I go, Aretha, can I have one of these Grammys? I think you ask, yo, I'm the type of person, I'm gonna ask. All you can say is no. That's the way
out of you real quick.
She's like, she did just like this. She went, I think not. I was like, I mean, I just wanted, yo, she could have said yes.
You're right.
She could.
Because you over here sizing the Grammys up. You know why? It was the dismissive of the check.
Right.
She didn't care about the check.
She didn't care about the check. But now as I'm walking around, I go over to the piano.
People.
I am. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. I'm here. What? Look, I said before in my TTU gems, no is a superpower. If you can know how to take the no's and the rejections, that's a superpower because many people cannot take it. So for me, the worst you could say is no. I'm still here. I'm not bleeding.
All she could have said, twerk it to ass.
She could have, but it wouldn't have correlated with, it's not. It's like, how dare you ask me that? Get out. It wasn't even that environment. The way she was, it wasn't even that. So I figured, let me just yeah, I mean, So I went over to the piano and I'm looking, and then I saw the lyrics to the song. The lyrics to the song and notation marks on certain lines. And that's when it hit me. Oh, she already knew what she was going to do before I got here. Well, that's what they used to do back in the day. Mm-hmm. They already practiced it for days and days, and they go in and they take, a couple of takes, and that's it. So I began to realize that's why you're you. But wait, I get even bolder.
You got small plate.
I get even bolder. So Trey Songz hadn't come out yet. And no, actually Trey Songz just came out. Gotta Make It. And so I go, because all right, so Atlantic, we were, Trey was out on Atlantic. Mm-hmm. Aretha Martin was still there. He's the creator of Atlantic Records. Aretha Martin was still alive at that time. Mm-hmm. So he's the one that signed Aretha over to Atlantic years ago. So I told Aretha, I'm like, I have this artist named Trey Songz that Aretha Martin signed. She's like, oh, really? I was like, yeah. So listen, Aretha, I want to ask you if you will be willing to, like, I don't know, like, say some words of encouragement to him that I could record, like, record it, and so I can, use it. And she said, let me hear him. So I play it, and she's listening to him. Nice tone. Okay, all right. I said, so we're about to do a remix anyway. Would you want to sing on it? Could you sing on it? Now, I didn't know, but I tried it anyway. And she said, okay, what you want me to do? What?
No way.
Zoinks.
No.
So long story short, she ends up, I just press play, press record, and she just ad-libbing. But if you listen to Trey Songz' album, the first thing you hear on Gotta Make It is Aretha Franklin. Mm-hmm. The words of encouragement is right there, and I used it as the opening of the album. So that's how I ended up getting her on there. But a lesson to all you people who are watching me, yo, just ask. They say no, you keep it moving. I would not have had that if I didn't ask her.
You didn't ask. Closed mouth don't get fed. That's what my grandma used to say. Did you get a plate before you left?
Yeah. She was the one that put me onto Verner's ginger ale. I didn't know about Verner's ginger ale at all. She was like, you need to taste this. Take a taste of this, and it is even better with ice cream. I'm like, vanilla. I'm like, whoa, this was the best Verner's. That's the best Verner's ginger ale I've ever tasted in my life. Anybody from Detroit, y'all know what I'm talking about. So yeah, no, she put me onto that. Food was amazing. Because she loves to cook. So it was just great, man. It was just super, 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 super great. Fast forwarding to Whitney. When I was working with Whitney, I would work with Whitney on her Just Whitney album. And then some years later, they asked me to work on her first Christmas album. And so when I went in the studio with her, she comes in the door, and the first thing she says to me is she goes, "Oh, Riri loves you." And I'm like, Riri, who are you talking about? And Rihanna wasn't around, so it wasn't. It wasn't no Rihanna. She probably was a baby by that time. But so I was like, "What are you talking about?" Riri, Aretha. I was like, "Oh yeah, she talk about you all the time." I was like, "Really? What did she say?" Boy, let me just say respectfully, Whitney was the hoodest chick ever. Period. Whitney, all that beauty, glamour, and all that. Nah.
Well, she from Jersey.
Yeah, super, super hood.
They don't play.
I just didn't, when I met her the first time, I didn't see that coming. I swear, like the personality, I didn't see that. So I'm like, Zoiks. She talking like, nigga, what? With the bump? I'm like, so I remember one time I was looking for her because we were about to start recording again, and nobody could find Whitney. So we're all looking around looking for her. I go outside to see maybe she's in the parking lot or whatever, and she's on the side smoking a cigarette. So I'm like, you smoke cigarettes? What? Whitney? I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Don't even start. I'm like, but you no, like Troy, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. And now check this out. The ironic thing about it is, while she's saying that to me, she's doing it. I don't even want to hear it. Don't even start. Don't even start. And I'm like, yo, this beautiful angelic voice. Yo, I didn't know she smoked. I had no clue, but I learned quickly. And then by the time we came to meeting up with her again for the Christmas project, I was already, used to working with her. And she played me other songs that she had done for the album. And she worked with Mervyn Warren. Mervyn Warren is from Take Six, the original group of Take Six. And when I heard the way he had her sounding, that made me like, no. You are not, no. Yeah, and she's like, I shouldn't have let you hear this, huh? I was like, I don't know. All I know is, nah. No. So I was pretty hard on Whitney, and I recorded the whole thing. And I tell you why I recorded the whole thing, because ironically, she didn't look healthy, and it was bad. It was kind of bad. So I kind of felt like I needed to record this moment, because she didn't look, so I recorded it. So that's why I have the sessions recorded I put it on CD, but of me working with her and her cursing me out and fussing and everything. But it was all love, because she did what I needed her to do. And she loved working with me, even though I was hard on her. It was just the fact that, you're Whitney Houston. There's no way in the world I can allow you to not sound like Whitney Houston. I just can't. So if you do anything that's just, I'm like, no. That's not Whitney Houston. I need Whitney Houston.
I need Whitney Houston.
So being bold got me a lot, because that same boldness got me what I needed from Aretha, got me what I needed from Whitney, got me what I needed from Patti LaBelle. And Patti LaBelle is, she hood too. She a hood. Yeah. I do tours, and I work in the entertainment industry and do tours, and I've worked with Patti LaBelle a few times. She's a down.
She don't take no shit. She don't take no shit.
No. So Patti, she allowed me to push her. She allowed me to just like really work her, and she super respected it. So, but if you think about it, I worked with two people who were believed to be rivals, Aretha and Patty. So I have this one song that the world doesn't really know about, that I did it for Aretha, but we didn't get enough time to do it when I was working with Aretha. The album comes out. I ended up with 3 on that album. But then that song I played for Patty. And Patty ended up cutting it. While she cut it, a few months later, Aretha comes back and says, hey, I think I want to record that song. And I'm like, which one? She's like, Say You Love Me. I want to record that. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, no. Yeah, so I'm gonna have them call you and set up the time.
So you don't break it down to her that you gave it to
that bold to tell her that Patty did it. Oh no. No, sir. No, sir. So I didn't say anything. I just went to Detroit. I cut it. So now I sit here and tell you, because Patty didn't put it out, Aretha didn't put hers out. So I have one song in the whole universe of the world that both of them sang that no one's heard. So I can actually put a duet together.
Yo, stop. That's crazy. That was my mind going right there. A duet together.
Yeah, and it's like, but I can't. I Patty don't know that Aretha cut it, and Aretha don't know Patty cut it. So
don't try to tell nobody, okay? Don't try to tell nobody. Now, wow, man.
And here's the thing.
Correct.
You know, Aretha is Aretha, Patty's Patty. They did it 2 different ways. So now I've done a lot of master classes overseas. Mm-hmm. So in my master classes, I would play both versions and I would ask them to tell me which one they choose. So people know about it, but no one has a copy of it. People have heard it, but it's not broadcast. You know, it's broadcast now, but still, I got it and you ain't heard it. So it doesn't matter if I talk about it, you still ain't heard it. So, but just having that alone and I think I saw Avery Wilson in here.
Dr. Avery Wilson.
See, somebody like Avery, I can play for Avery and just ask him, like, get his opinion on which one I already know who he gonna choose. I ain't gonna say who he would choose, but I know who he would choose. But you know, people like that I would play it for, and just to get, because it's a historical gem. It's like gold. Nobody in the world has this but me. You know, and nobody has Whitney talking to me, yelling at me, cursing at me. Nobody in the world has that. It's mine for nobody has it.
Protect Troy Taylor at all costs. He's an influencer now. Protect him at all costs.
So yeah, no, but those are some of the things that I didn't see coming in these 33 years. I it's weird to believe that I actually am known around the world, like me from New Haven, Connecticut. Like, wow. So I don't take it for granted. I still have the joy of doing music, even though the music industry is the most horrific, terrible, deceitful, grimy, disloyal. Give me some other words. Anything you can think of bad.
You can put it all together.
It's bad. It's bad. It's so bad. It's people don't care. Mm-hmm. They have no morals. They don't care about your money. They'll hold out on your money. They don't respect. It's really bad. But there's only one thing. There's one thing that keeps everybody in the music industry honest, loyal, sweet, kind, friendly, smile when they see you, check on you, make sure you're good. One thing. A hit record. You got a hit record. They'll be your best pal, your buddy, your best friend. They'll invite you over. The people you couldn't get on the phone, they'll call you, check in, because you got hits. They will check in on you. Hey man, yeah man, just checking on you, man. So you good? You good? These are people that if you called to get your check, they won't respond. They will literally. But if they see, like, okay, say you got an artist and you posted on your page a record that I did, and the record comes out and it's going crazy. All the people who ignored me will then be blowing me up. Yo, Troy, what up, y'all? Yeah, man. We need to lock in, bro. We need to get in. Like, nigga, you have been ignoring my call all year. Now I got a hit record, and now you my friend? Like, word? Oh, come on, Troy. Word, man. Like, dude, like, a lot of things was going on behind the scenes that I couldn't really tell people, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was bad, man. It was so bad, but So I tell people that if you really want to control people, your music being top notch is the way to do it.
Well, your music speaks for you.
Yes.
The resume speaks for you.
Yep.
3 Grammys, right? 3 Grammys, Troy?
3 Grammys, 2 Boys and Men's, and 1 Aretha.
3 Grammys under your belt. Can you recall the moment where you found out you won your first Grammy?
Oh, that was that Boys and Men, yo. That Boys and Men first album, Coolie High Harmony. They won Best R&B Album by Duo Group. Again, you used to seeing this stuff on TV every year, but you don't know that that's something that could actually happen for you. And you don't, I can dream it, but it's like, be real with yourself. Like, you know, you good, Troy, but like, that's because it's political. It's not just about how good you are. It's not just about how dope your songs are. You got to be on the board. You got to make sure, you know, you kiss the babies and shake hands and do campaigns. It's a real political situation. That's why we see people win that we never even heard of, because they're on the board doing the campaigns and all the things. It's like, you know, like going for president or going for office or whatever the case. Grammys is like that. It's not about whose song was the most famous song or the most popular song. It's not about that. So to me, I didn't qualify to be in that setting because, you know, but when Boyz II Men won, and by far to this date, Boyz II Men is probably, out of all the people that I worked with, they consistently always thank me. If you ever notice when people win awards, they thank everybody but the producers and the writers.
Absolutely.
It's like, are you it's a game to me now. But to this day, I will sit there and wait to see if any of the writers, any of the producers, and they never do. It's like
labels. You label people.
They name the label people. They name the fans. Nigga, before the fans got that, the producer and the writer did this. How you gonna do that? The fans can't hear nothing unless the producers and writers do it. Like, there's no way in the world you're going to go skip over the producers and writers and get to the fans because you think they're more important. No, they're not. If it wasn't for the producer and writer, the fans would hear nothing. So, but it's a thing. But Boyz II Men always thanked us. And people didn't realize that when you thank people, that gets you more work. Because, I didn't know. Oh, my goodness. Yo, get them on the phone. Because what I said to you, if you got a hit record, they're your bestest pal. So if they hear an artist mention your name, it's like, oh, Troy. Yeah, call Troy.
Get him.
So they didn't know. So it's an interesting thing. It's an interesting journey. I do tell people a lot, you know, I know people want to be in the music industry, you want to be successful, but the games you have to play, no, it supersedes the talent. So if you want to do it, y'all, I'm going to let you know. Woo! Get your duck feathers ready. We're gonna
Get your feathers ready. Shifting gears a little bit, right? I wanna touch on Trey. You know, you started Songbook Entertainment, and a few years later, we hear Trey Songz take the music R&B by storm. Please, man, because you guys did a lot of work together. Please elaborate. You know how you guys met and just kind of started working together.
Okay, so real quick, I was known as the characters in the first 12 years of my career. I had a partner named Charles Farrar, Troy Taylor, Charles Farrar. We were the characters. Shout out to Charles. And Charles went to high school with Trey's stepfather. So his name is Kenny. So Kenny always, you know, they knew about Charles. And by this time, me and Charles were known and everything. And we got, you know, stuff under our belt, whatever. So Kenny is like telling Charles, yo, can you listen to my son? He said he wants to sing. And Charles was the business side. I was the music side. So Charles calls me and says, hey man, listen, Kenny, my boy Kenny has a son, and he's like 15, and he want to know what we think about him. Like he said he wants to sing. He raps, but they said he wants to sing. He said he wants to sing. So I was like, I mean, you know, so for a couple of weeks, Charles been trying to get me to do it. And I'm like, just have him come over to the house. Like, so Trey came over. He had a Chiefs, I think it was a Chiefs thingy, jersey. And it was too big. He had these little plaques. They hadn't grown in
Shout
yet.
out to the Chiefs. Shout out to the Chiefs.
So he had these plaques. He had these huge feet. He was super dumb skinny. And he comes over on his sister's bike, which was a pink bike. And I'm looking out the window like, what the heck? Anyway, I said I would do it. So he comes in. We go downstairs in the basement. And I lived in Jersey. I lived in Teaneck, New Jersey at that time. So he comes downstairs, and I asked him a few questions. I said, so you rap? He's like, yeah. But I want to sing though. I think I want to sing though. I'm like, okay, so what makes you think that you can sing? He said, well, I sing in talent shows all the time. And now I'm always singing around the house and stuff. And a lot of my friends say that, you know, I'm good, but I don't know. And so I said, okay, we'll sing something. So he sings Donnell Jones, Where I Want to Be. And when he sings Donnell Jones, Where I Want to Be, I'm listening and waiting for a couple of things. Okay, so when you sing a cappella, people who sing a cappella who are not necessarily a singer, they just sing. When they get louder, they start drifting off in keys because they don't know. They don't hear themselves shifting into another key. But Trey didn't do that. He stayed in key the whole time. He sang the song as is, the way it goes. There was nothing crazy that he did. He didn't do anything dope or anything like that. However, his tone was dope. His tone was dope. And I'm just looking at him while he's singing. He sings the whole thing. He sings it right. I was like, okay, cool.
Because sometimes less is more. Sometimes people try to do too much.
Well, he's young. I'm not expecting anything from him. But when I noticed that those little things he didn't do, like, I'm like, oh, you know more than you think you know. You know what I mean? Like, you're better than you know. So he don't know. He's never been in the studio. He's never sang for anybody. This was his first time singing for someone professional. So I was like, so you write? Do you write? He's like, oh yeah. So I was like, you got a song or something that you know? He pulled out this piece of paper from his back pocket, and he sang this song. And I noticed the song had a verse, it had a hook, it had a second verse. And I'm like, you wrote this? And he was like, yeah. I'm like, okay, come over here. So I had him come over to the keyboard, and I had him sing it. And so I figured out the chords and everything. So I made the track to his song right there. It was a simple song. So I made the track, and I was like, pull up a seat, put up a chair. So I gave him the headphones. After I laid everything into the recorder, gave him the headphones. I said, take one off right here so you can hear yourself. And so I said, when I point to you, I want you to start singing that one part right there. And so he's just like sitting there, like looking at me. The mic is sitting right next to me. He's sitting right next to me.
First
and I point,
time in the studio,
yep.
right? First time in the studio.
Yep. First time.
Same day. It's all the same day.
Oh yeah, because I did everything right then and there. Because when he was singing the song, I could hear the chords in my head. Like, so I was like, let me just see how you know, what I wanted to see was how he takes instructions. Because I don't care how dope you are. If you're a dope singer, but you can't follow instructions, you mean absolutely nothing to me. I don't care your grandmama said how dope you are, your auntie said you're the dopest singer ever. If you can't follow instructions, you absolutely mean nothing to me because you're wasting my time. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to see if he followed instructions. So when I pointed to him, he sang the melody of the chorus that he had. And I was like, okay, pretty good. He was flowing with it. So I said, okay, I'm gonna give you a note, and I want you to sing this note like this. And I sang it for him. And so I was like, I'm gonna give you a harmony note. And he looked at me. His face was just so expressive. So he looked at me like he was lost. And he was like, well, what's harmony? Like, what's harmony? I was like, like harmony, harmonizing people. Mm-hmm. He ain't know none of that. So I said, okay, so in church they got the soprano, the alto, the tenor, and they have their 3 parts. He's like, oh, yeah. Okay, I said, so I'm gonna give you another note, and I want you to sing this note with what you laid down. He did it. Sometimes when you harmonize with people, y'all who watching, y'all know singers, they'll get on your note. They'll be singing, and then they drift down to your note. You'd be like, nigga, get on my note. Like, you know what I mean?
Who's you singing in the choir?
And so
the tenors right next to the altos, you start sound.
He stayed with the whole thing and kept his note that I gave him. So I gave him a third note. And I'm like, okay. We finished the song. I told him I'll, work on it and finish it up, and then I'll send it to him. Kenny lived 8 minutes from my house. That's why he rode the bike. So Kenny lived 8 minutes from my house, but he lived in Virginia. He's from Petersburg. He was only there for, I think it was the summer. So he was about to go back. It was August, and he was about to go back for school. So I sent him the song and everything, and his mom called me, super excited. And she was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Like, that's my baby. Oh, okay. What does he need to do? Tell me everything he needs to do. And I was like, okay. So, no, first she asked me, what did I think? And I was like, well, he has the it factor. Because Trey had a look. He's 15, but he had a look. And you could see it in his face, and you could see it in his eyes. Like, he had a look. In my mind, I'm an artist builder. I'm a star builder. So I have to see before it happens. And if I can see before it happens, I'll know what I need to do. You know what I mean? And so I saw it. And like I said, I'm not trying to blow it up. It wasn't anything amazing and spectacular and all this stuff. I just could see, he had like a little twinkle like in his eye, like that I saw. So I told his mom, I think he has the it factor. And she's like, okay, oh my gosh. Okay, so what does he need to do? I said, okay, so first off, does he have a cell phone? She's like, no, he doesn't have a cell phone. Or he did have a cell phone. But I said, get him a SkyTel pager. You remember the SkyTel pagers? Mm-hmm. The 2A? Yes. So I can keep in touch with him. So Trey was like one of the only ones in high school with a SkyTel pager. He's like to keep it. So I kept in touch with him, and I made a deal with him. I said, if you could keep your grades up, keep everything good with school, stay out of trouble, you know, on school breaks or whatever, you could come back and I'll continue to work with you. So he did that. School breaks, all the breaks, Christmas break, all those, all the way up to the summer. And so he came back. Now he's 16, and so he comes back for the summer, and then he just hangs with me everywhere. He just goes with me every session. He's just with me. He's just like a fly on the wall, like just coming with me, because I just wanted him to experience everything. And that's why he was sitting right next to me when I did B2K Bump Bump Bump. And yeah, it was Bump 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 because we did it in New York. I took him with me. So while I'm producing B2K, Trey was sitting right next to me. So he was there the whole time. And then there was this little cutie girl, little itty bitty, little cutie, little tiny Janae. So Janae was like 14. She was like 14. She was there. I do have a picture of her braiding Trey's hair, actually. But yeah, all of that. And then Trey when he graduated, his mom made her deal with him. She gave him 1 year, and if he doesn't get anything or anything happening in 1 year, he's gonna have to go to college. So long story short of that, Trey ended up signing his record deal 11 days late. He was 11 days past that year. And his mother was not playing. She was like, you ain't signed it yet, so you might as well start looking. He's like, Mom, but they're negotiating. And I don't care.
Politics, baby. You pass the politics. It might take a month before you get it done, but we in there.
He was 18 years old by this time, and he signed his first deal at 18. And I did not know that Atlantic will send me around the freaking universe trying to make that first album, because it took 2 years. Not 2 years because we took 2 years. We already had the songs. But I had to play the politics, the game. That's when I would start learning about all this extra crap that has nothing to do with the music. And it's like, oh, come on. Like, so yeah, it took 2 years for him to come out. By the time he came out, he was 20 with Gotta Make It. And the rest is history.
That's legendary, man. That's legendary. That's legendary. That's crazy, man. Wow. That's an incredible story. What would you say was your proudest moment working with Trey over the years?
One of my proudest moments. Let's see. One of my proudest moments. This one is small. One of them. So in the beginning, when Trey first came out and he started going on the road, we would go to the airport. I was always with him, so we go to the airport, and he would walk freely, just walking. You know, his record is, you know, on the radio and stuff like that, but nobody knew who he was. But the first time a girl walked past him and stopped and noticed him, I'll never forget that. It was like, she was like, and that was the first time I seen someone recognize him. And so when we kept walking, I was like, you know that girl recognized you. He was like, word? No, get out, for real? And I was like, yeah. So then, as time progressed on, when he would go to the airport, that was it. He could not walk through the airport just freely. He kept getting stopped. He would try to go to sleep. He couldn't sleep because he was
on a plane.
Yeah, so that,
now you got to go to first class.
One of the proudest moments. And then, of course, getting his first, I don't know if Can't Help But Wait went #1, but it got him, it put him on the map. It put him on the map. So
it was #1 in the streets.
Yeah. That it put him on the map. So that was good too.
Mm. And you guys did how many projects together? Like 6, 7? So
my contract was 6. But of course, we're past contracts, and the relationship is way past that. It's whenever he needs. It's whatever he needs.
That's dope. That's super, super dope. I read somewhere that the Ready album is to you. I think you can correct me if I'm wrong, but that the Ready album was kind of close to you. You were going through some personal things at that time too, where you kind of
so the Ready album, because I was going through a divorce, so it landed me here in Atlanta, and I lived in Texas by this time, and
moving all over.
yeah. I moved to Texas for my family, for my wife and my son, and then that put me right in the middle, not too far from LA, not too far from New York, so it was a good compromise. But when I went through that divorce, which was not my divorce, and I say that because it wasn't my choice, but it put me in a position because my dad was married when he met my mom. So I'm a product of outside the marriage child. However, my dad died before I was born. The day, 2 weeks after he died, my mom found out she was pregnant. So my dad doesn't even know I exist. So on my father's side, there's a lot of kids who are not in with their dad, and outside marriages and whatever. So I vowed that when I get married, that I would always be with my child and I would never divorce.
Mm-hmm.
However, I forgot one thing. The other person. I was so focused on me that I forgot. The other person can divorce you, dummy. I'm like, oh,
it's not
about that.
Two people.
So when she decided to quit.
That's crazy, right, Troy? To cut you off. It takes two people to get married, but it takes one person to get divorced.
Yep. She decided that I had to get this album, and this was Trey's this was a very important album because, the label was like, if this album doesn't work, he's going to be dropped. So I had to focus. So I had to just give that problem, and it was hard to do, but I had to give it to God because I couldn't mentally. I was so broken. I was super broken. It's funny because there's a couple of sessions that I have that are famous on YouTube. Famous being one of them, when I was recording Famous and I Need a Girl. And when I look at those videos, I remember the state of mind I was in. But nobody knew how broken I was. I was torn. Like, I was so messed up that all I could do is just trust God to keep me, because I never imagined being divorced. And then, she's a good mom, so I didn't have anything to do, against her being a mom. So I wasn't going to take my son away or nothing like that. But I couldn't be in Texas and work on the projects and stuff at the same time. So that put me outside away from my son. So it was really hard to go through that, but I had to trust God and then continue to focus on Ready. So when people talk about Ready being a classic, it's like, I appreciate that, but all I remember is going through that divorce while making that album.
Wow.
So yeah.
Wow, but they say that when you're going through pain, sometimes you put it in the music. And
well, that was the worst I've ever been. That was the lowest I've ever been. I'm so broken that it was so painful. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe, because I had turned 40. And so it was like, how did I get here? I'm not supposed to be going through a divorce at 40. What the heck? This is not supposed to be.
Right. It's like starting all over again.
Yeah. Like, nigga, what the heck? Like, no, not now.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the way it went. And God did promise me he would get me through it. He promised me that it would get better. And he kept his promise. It did get better. The house that I lost in Texas, this house is better. I haven't remarried yet or anything, but I do know my next wife will be better. And I hold on to that, because after what happened with Ready, it let me know that God got me the whole time. He had me the whole time. So, that was a big album. It's my favorite album to date for Trey, because it means so much to me. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Dope, super dope. One of my favorite albums too. you've labeled yourself the mayor of R&B.
So I did that as an experiment. I wanted to see if I say it, how if people would gravitate towards it just because I said it.
Remember, this all relates back into that you don't know until you try it. You don't if you don't act.
Yeah, I'm
can't get no.
Troy Taylor, the mayor of R&B. I started saying it, and people started saying it. So I was like, okay. So now I always hated tags. I used to make all the producers take tags off. It was just, but then you can't read credits anymore. People don't know that you did anything unless they hear the tags. So I decided to figure out a tag.
Troy Taylor, you the go.
So I came up with that, and people started gravitating towards it. So I'm like, okay, so you can actually speak things as though they were not. You can speak them into existence. And if you speak firmly and you are confident, people will latch on. They may tease you, they may laugh, but as they're laughing, they're remembering it. So when they joke and say, the mayor of R&D, like they're saying it. Who cares? Who cares how they mean it? They're saying it. So I decided, I just started noticing people would say it and say it and say it. And then all of a sudden it became that. So, yeah.
That's dope. And it does stamp you and solidify you.
Yeah, because it was like
credits are not around no more. People are not reading credits and things.
Right. So I gotta say it. It's simply like this. If you want people to treat you right, you got to show them how to treat you. Don't expect them to know how to treat you when they don't know you.
Facts.
That's dumb. If they don't know you, you got to show them how to treat you, and they will follow suit. So show them. It's okay to tell people, hey, listen, I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't do that. You know what I mean? And they'll be like, oh, word? Because I don't smoke, I don't drink, I've never been high, never been tipsy, never been dizzy, never been queasy, never been nothing. I don't know nothing about it. My dad died of drug overdose. My grandfather died of alcoholic. So I vowed to never do that. But as I'm telling people, and growing up, it's a joke, it's funny, ha ha ha, Troy, you whack. Come on, have a drink with us, Troy. Come on, wooty wooty woo. And I'm like, no. Come on, Troy, toast with us. I'm like, no. Like, no, I'm not. Oh, Troy, it's only a little. Man, come on, you can have a. No, I'm not. So now that everybody who knows me knows that, every now and again for kicks and giggles, I will do a shot just for like if they're like doing a toast or whatever, and now it's like, so I do it for shock value. Every now and again, you'll see me do it just to throw people off. But I've never bought a drink before. Never bought a drink. I never ordered a drink, ever.
So he never did the gin and juice, y'all. Never did none of that, right?
I don't like alcohol. Alcohol tastes nasty.
You know what? I disagree.
Nico said he don't drink, y'all. He be faking it. Nico, I don't fake nothing. I don't fake like I'm drunk. It's better to sit down and watch everybody else be drunk and act a fool. I think that's hilarious. That is the most funniest thing, to watch everybody, and then they act like, well, I guess they don't remember, but when they act like, did I do that? Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you did.
You said that. You did that.
You did
yeah.
That. You fell.
Yeah. You look crazy.
See, it depends. It depends on the people. Some people are totally opposite. Some people be loud when they drink, and then some people be like laid back when they drink.
Nah, whatever. Nigga talking about boring. Yeah, all right, nigga. But yeah, no, boring, corny, oh, you wag, all those things were as I was growing up, and I'm not a peer pressure person.
See, my wife just said you drink for the feeling, not for the taste.
I think that's stupid. Before you can feel anything, it got to go past your taste buds.
It gotta go past your taste buds.
That's disgusting.
See, some people don't care. Some people just drink anything, right? But like coffee, I think coffee's nasty for the most part. But I gotta put more sugar in there to make me. But I drink it for the feeling that coffee gives me. It gives me that boost. So
yeah. But you can't put sugar in alcohol.
No, you can't. You can't.
So no.
You put a little salt, little sugar around the rim. That's about it. Like you get the margarita.
Rim. Trey? Yeah.
All right. Trey, what would you, as the mayor of R&B, where would you say that R&B is headed as a genre?
It never went anywhere. It just became very analytical with numbers, TikTok, and all these things that became more important. R&B has always been a slow burner. But when it was about R&B, rap had a hard way to go. Rap, wasn't mainstream, and so the roles changed. It's easy for people to latch on to rap than it is for singing. A lot of rappers actually wish they could sing, but since they can't, they rap. And so it becomes popular, it becomes trendy. But R&B still, it never went anywhere. It just got demoted. So now I'm noticing a lot of this generation, the kids, they gravitate towards a lot of the 90s. And the reason why we don't have bridges and a lot of harmonies like my era is because they don't know how to do it. It's not that they don't want to do it. They don't know how to do it, because they'll sit there and listen to 112, Boyz II Men, Jodeci, all this 90s stuff, but they can't do it. So that's the only reason why it's not trendy, popular, whatever. It's because they don't know how to, Fruity Loops they tap dot and put the dot, but not a lot of people know how to do chords. And so but I see that they still like it. So that's what lets me know, okay, no, we're good. I'm going to still keep doing it until it comes back around. And when it comes back around, everybody's going to be stuck. So it never really went anywhere.
Yo, Troy, what you doing, man? Can you come down here?
They're doing that. They're starting to do that now. I didn't waver. I stuck with it.
I saw yesterday you posted something. You was like, quote me if I'm wrong. You said, it's the wrong people singing the wrong R&B, right? Something like that.
The wrong people signing the wrong artists and then putting the wrong songs on them.
Elaborate.
Well, first of all, it's a talent to be able to know who to sign. People don't know that. Just because you got a position and your boy says, oh, I got this artist that's dope, that don't mean that artist needs to be signed yet or ever. It just means that you got an opportunity to sign something or someone, and you might be able to get that bag or whatever the case. The artist probably has no business being signed yet or ever, and they don't really care because they saw them on their page and they got like a lot of followers and they got a little hype and they probably got a little fashion to them, a little hypeness to them and trendy, or they can dance or whatever, and they signed them, and then it's like, who are they?
You see a lot of deals like that right now because we're living in a social media era. So if this person is popular on TikTok, they got a little trendy moment, they get a deal, and then there's no album, then everything's downhill.
There's a reason why it's called artist development. And they say artists are sensitive, and it's so funny to say that you could claim yourself as an artist, but my question is going to be, when were you developed?
But people don't want to do artist development no more. People want the package.
Oh no, they don't know how to do it. They don't know how to do it. It's not that they don't want to do it. They don't know how to do it because they feel like, well, you got your audience, so your audience. You know what I mean? Like, so keep posting and da 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 da. That's not development. That's just developing a following. That's not the artist development. How you walk into a room, how you sit, how you stand, how you talk, how you look when you're talking, all these little tiny things says you're ready or not. And people don't know that. So this is these things that you got to learn. If people get sensitive if you say they're not an artist, and it'd be like, yeah, okay, so don't get sensitive if I say you're not an artist. I say you're not an artist yet. You have to be developed. That's why it's artist development. Like, you can't call yourself an artist if you wasn't developed into one. But you know, that's sensitive.
But I do see you working with a lot of new artists.
Yeah.
And I see you post them often. You know, like what would you say is like is there a time frame on artist development where it's like, okay, within a year or such and such, like, is it a time frame on artist development? Like, how do you kind of
I think it's up to that. It's up to that artist. Mm-hmm. I see a lot of artists that want to do it, but when it's time to do all the essential things that you have to do today, they don't want to do it. And it's like, you know, it's not for everybody. I get that. But if they say that, you know, creating your presence, creating your audience, and building fan by fan by fan, one at a time, if I say that this is what you have to do, then so be it. I don't care if you don't like it. If you don't like it, then get ready, because being an artist in the music industry, there's going to be more I don't like it than I like it. In my whole career, I have more whack moments than I do have great moments. So it's just how it is. So you can tell me you don't want to do it all you want to, but I tell you what, when you get your little song and it sounds good and it's time to put it out, who are you putting it out to? You didn't even build the audience up yet. You didn't even stick with them. You didn't let them know, you know, you're coming. You didn't even talk to them and maybe let them see you making the record, and so they can be a part of the whole thing. So when it comes out, there's people can say, oh no, because he was live when he was doing that. I know that song. Yeah. It makes them feel a part of your journey. If you don't bring them along, they will leave you.
They're not invested. And I see artists who are established doing that, and especially in R&B. And I think that's been a thing to hold on to people as well. Like a lot of people I follow, I'll see that they'll post something and they're in the studio and they give you little snippets. Like Pleasure P does that. A lot of people do that. Like Navon does that. And then like 6 months later, I'm like, oh shoot, that's the joint. I mean, let me listen to it. You invested. Yep. You remember.
You have to do that. If that's what you got to do. So if that's what you got to do and you don't want to do it, then I'm gonna have to say that you're not ready. The reason why Ready album was called Ready is because I felt Trey was ready. Even though that was his third album, there was a lot of things that I needed Trey to do that he didn't want to do, like stop wearing big clothes. Good Lord. Baggy. That was an error. Exactly. Them braids. A lot for me to take off them baggy clothes. It was like, okay, Trey, what we doing? What we doing with the braids, dude? Come on. And even though that was his signature, it was like, okay, we got to evolve. So it was Trey that decided to cut his braids. It was Trey that decided to change up his clothes. And when I started seeing him do that, I thought the greatest, because I would always say, Trey, are you ready? You sure you want to do this, man? Like, are you sure you ready for this? You know what I mean? I would always ask him that. But when he started doing that, I thought the appropriate title for his album would be Ready, because he was ready.
But he definitely stepped into like that grown man. Around that album, you started seeing more suits. You started seeing a different shift.
Yep.
A different shift.
He evolved.
Different shift. I see you working with a lot of talent, a lot of upcoming talent. Some people who are established and got a name for themselves as well. Is there anyone out there that you want to work with that's like new in R&B that you haven't worked with? Because I see you working with Queen Naija. You got some stuff on Vito's last album. Shout out to my guy Vito, Mood Swings.
Well, I know Vito. I know Vito for a long time. I know him since 2012, 11 and 12. So I actually brought Vito to Atlantic and they passed on him. So I've known Vito for a long time. But my top
2012 around the time he did the show? Was that around the time he did the TV show, The Voice?
Who? Vito?
Yeah.
I think that was after that. Okay. It was after that. There's one artist that's at the top of my list that I haven't worked with yet, that I really want to work with.
You Troy Taylor, man. You Troy Taylor.
No, you're not gonna ever guess this person because everybody always like, really? Why him? It's one person, and that's Sway Lee.
Sway Lee. Sway Lee is
international. He's at the top of my list.
I don't know why. Why would they say why him?
And we've talked. Like, I have his number. We talk every now and again, but we never met in person though. We're joined by the fact that we're both Geminis. Mm-hmm. So he knows of me. I know of him, of course, and it just hasn't connected yet. But it's coming.
It will.
I think Sway Lee is. I just want to do some R&B music on Sway Lee. That's my goal. I want to do R&B music on Sway Lee. Now, as far as legend that I haven't worked with yet, Charlie Wilson.
Charlie, go.
Yep.
That'd be dope too. That'd be dope too.
And we talked. It just hasn't happened yet. So it's coming.
Yeah, it's happening.
Yeah,
it's happening. Man, R&B, it's happening. Who would you feel is the Mount Rushmore of R&B?
There's no such thing. There's no such thing. When people try to do that Mount Rushmore, they're like, stop it. Stop it.
You know what? Fuck it. I was trying to keep a light on you. Who do you feel like is the king of R&B? That king of R&B talk. Who do you feel like holds that title?
Honestly, Usher. Honestly. So let's think about this for a second. R.Kelly is the epitome of R&B.
Correct.
I don't care what nobody say. He mastered the true essence of R&B music. Mm-hmm. He demoted himself. The next person who was next in line got stuck. Remember Juice? When he was like, the last end was like, you got the juice now.
Yeah.
The next person who I feel was supposed to step into that is Trey. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that leaves me one person. There's a queen and there's a king. Correct. My opinion, my humble opinion, the queen is Beyonce.
Absolutely.
And the king is Usher.
I can get that back.
Yeah. No, he's the essence of R&B. Mm. He crossed over, but he's still the essence of R&B. Like, when you think of just performing everything, singing, hit records, he needs to do a show, the Super Bowl. He does. He definitely needs it.
It's a lot of talk about
he's
that.
Worthy because he's worthy of it. He should have done it before. Mm-hmm. And then, everyone's talking about it. I'm like, how this nigga gonna do 2 hours in freaking Vegas worthy of a freaking Super Bowl that's only 30 minutes?
Right.
That don't make sense.
Or less. That shit like 15 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
He's been doing, and they extended his Vegas residency. He was supposed to.
It's the event.
Yeah.
It's a special event. If you go see Usher, you've seen something historical.
Yep. He was up. His residency was supposed to end, and a group was supposed to come in and do it, and they extended his residency because
Usher is incredible. He is the quintessential meaning of success as a male artist, and the top of his game. The top of his game. So to me, it's Usher.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I give that. I give that to Usher. I give that to Usher for sure. My first was R.Kelly, but I see Usher.
It was. Mm-hmm. It was R.Kelly. Mm-hmm. Nobody messing with R.Kelly. Let me. When it comes to that music, you ain't messing. Mm-hmm. No, stop it. But he demoted himself. Mm-hmm. He allowed his personal life to demote him, so he's out the running.
Do you think that, because oftentimes we see, like, we see artists go through things in their personal lives, right? And, it could be, there's always three sides to a story. It's the truth. It's your side, their side, and the truth, right? But often the media and the public runs with whatever is diminishing to the person's career. Whatever sounds like the best to hurt that person. And, often, especially in our culture, right, it's the cancel culture. And do you think that we should separate the art? How do you feel about that? Like separating the art from the person? And this could be musicians, this could be authors, this could be directors, movie directors. However, do you think we should stop listening to that album or watching our favorite movie or, just in general, or reading that book that you like to read or whatever? You think we should accept?
Well, it's because the question is because in people's minds you're supporting them. Mm-hmm. So that's where they feel like, oh, after you found out they did this, that, and the third, you gonna still listen to their music? Well, honestly, they was already doing it the whole time, and we just found out. Mm-hmm. So if you're gonna be a hypocrite, you can, but there's something wrong with every successful artist. We just don't know what it is. Mm-hmm. So
we're all human.
Yes,
we're all human.
And nobody, I don't care. So now to answer your question, yes, I think we should separate it because we got crap going on ourselves. And we don't have any business telling somebody who somebody should not listen to because of what they did when you got some crap going on that nobody knows about. So you cannot sit there and say, y'all don't need to listen to R.Kelly because he be messing with them little girls. And you yourself is a freaking fanatic liar and you hurt people all the time. You steal and you do all these things that nobody knows about. But you talking about because he did this.
Right.
So I don't think that
you be stealing from Walmart, right? You be stealing at the self-checkout at Walmart.
People are.
How about I call your job and say, yo, Troy shouldn't work there because he be stealing from Walmart. But you great at your job. You ain't got no people love what you do. You on time, you punctual, and you deliver. And people love you there. But because you stealing at Walmart, I should call your job and say, hey, fire.
So I don't think that anybody is in a position to say, I'm not listening to his music because of what he did. I would say stop. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about you for a second. Well, it ain't about me. It ain't about me. I don't do stuff like that. No, you don't. But you do this. You do this over here. And this over here, if the world knew about this right here, they would look at you the same way. Well, then nobody knows about me, so I could just spend all my time looking at you and talking about you and what you got going on. So I don't think anybody's in a position to say what you shouldn't listen to his music anymore. You're supporting them, and because you're weird and you got something crazy going on and nobody knows about it. Mm. Like let he without sin cast the first stone. That's that one.
Facts. True. That's true. That's true, man. That's true. So, yeah, I feel the same way. I'm not gonna. You know how many movies, right? Like, I broke this down to someone the other day. You know how many movies Harvey Weinstein was behind?
So you gonna stop? I don't see anybody doing the research so they can say, "Oh, dang, I didn't know he did that one. I can't watch that again." No. Oh my gosh, this is my favorite movie.
I can't watch Minister Society.
You can't favorite the movie. You can't say it's not my favorite anymore. You can't do that.
Exactly. And same thing for music. Like R.Kelly's music.
Let me tell you something.
When I listen to his music, it resonates with me. Not
album came out. I admit it. It came out. Was it supposed to come out like a few weeks ago?
Yeah. That song was old. That's the thing. That song came out like 2019.
I don't care what nobody say. That album came out, right? Mm-hmm. And that album came out, and I heard that album. And I downloaded that. I bought that album. I bought it because I got all his albums, right? Mm-hmm. I bought the album, and a few hours later, they said, oh, they took it down. Well, I got it. I don't care what nobody say. I got it, and it completes my collection. I ain't got nothing to do with that man's weirdness, his eclecticness. I have nothing to do with that. But that album's crazy. I don't care what nobody say. The album's crazy.
So what's a full album? Because all right, so in about like 2018, 2019, he had released the record. I admit, right? He had that 18-minute song was like on YouTube and stuff like that. So people was like, "Oh, I admit," album came out. I'm like, "Oh, I heard that song before." So it actually was an album with multiple songs.
Well, it was three. It was broken up in 3 sections.
Gotcha.
Okay, first of all, let me say this. R.Kelly has been telling us everything he's been doing the whole time. So people are a bunch of cap. They're a bunch of freaking cap. He said, age ain't nothing but a number. Throwing down ain't nothing but a thing. My mind's telling me no, but my body's telling me yes. Your body's calling me.
I don't see nothing wrong
I
with
keep going. How about this? They called him the Pied Piper of R&B. Well, let's go to the story of Pied Piper. The Pied Piper was the man that was in town when he would blow his pipe, his flute. The little kids would follow him. The nigga's been telling us the whole time who he is, what he does, and we turned a blind eye because we loved his music. He got away. He felt like he was invincible. He started getting sloppy, and he started getting whack, and this just started leaking. But when I think about it, he's been telling us who he was the whole time. And so when people be like, "Oh, R. Kelly's, he's disgusting," yo, you knew he married Aaliyah. We see him creeping on the freaking album cover. It's the most creepiest thing in the world. You go to that first Aaliyah album cover, and you see him in the background.
Yeah,
and he's blurred. That's creepy.
It's shadow.
It's like, yeah. I'm like, yo, he's been telling you. So how are you gonna sit here and act like you didn't know this whole time? You knew. You chose to choose the music. So now that it's out, you don't want to get caught listening to his music
because it's politically. Yeah. Like the other day, I was pulling in. It was actually Valentine's Day. I was pulling into the Harris Teeter. I was pulling into the Harris Teeter parking lot. And it was like a playlist on Tidal, but it wasn't just one. It wasn't his records. It was multiple songs on there. And he came on. My windows is down. The music is loud. I start singing along. I see people looking at me like, "Who's playing that? Who's doing that?" And it was just like all eyes were on me because I was playing R. Kelly. So yeah.
Now, I don't care what nobody say. Lisa Presley was 14 when Elvis married her. So come on, stop it. Don't play with me.
I seen the clip earlier today.
Yeah, don't play with me. Jerry Lee Lewis married his cousin. Jerry Lee Lewis married his cousin. She was 13. Don't play with me. Niggas has been doing this for a very long time, and I'm not condoning it, and I'm not saying it's right. All I'm saying is don't be a hypocrite. Don't sit here and try to do that. Now, there's people who we love, right? We don't know nothing about it. Huh?
The song that they sing, like football games and all that, Sweet Caroline? That was about a 7-year-old girl.
And I don't even know that.
Yeah, you got. I found that out like today, earlier today.
Like I said, there's a lot of contradicting that's going on, and I say that if you're going to take that stand, then you're going to have to research all the songs and the artists that you love. And once you find out some things or whatever, I will challenge you. Are you going to then say, "Oh, I didn't know"? First of all, you got to get hardcore proof, not word of mouth. You got to get the proof. You got to get the proof. Stop going off of what people say. Get the proof. You say he's gay. Did you see him with somebody? If you saw him with somebody, not only did you see him with somebody, did you catch them in the act of having sex? So how do you know they're gay? Because people say it, or their mannerisms. So because saying they're gay is going, it could be because you see that they act feminine. So you're going to go so far to say that they're gay because they have feminine traits? Because saying that they're gay is a big statement. If they have feminine tendencies, okay, fine. You meet my mother, a lot of my feminine tendencies is my mom. Mm-hmm. My mom raised me, so I got but it's my mom. It's what I want people, I watched her growing up. So, but to say someone is gay, it's like, did you see them yourself doing something that would qualify them to be as such? Or did they tell you that they were? Those are the only two categories that I feel validated. Because if you didn't see it for yourself, you're going off of word hearsay and what you think. That ain't cool. You wouldn't want nobody to do that about you. So to me, get the proof first before you start talking about people.
Facts.
This is my little humble opinion.
Facts. Facts. Shifting gears, right? Who's top 5 producers?
Top 5 producers. Quincy Jones.
Okay.
He is the essence of what a producer is. Quincy Jones is at the top of my list, will always be at the top of my list. Jammin' Lewis, LA and Face, Teddy Riley. How many is that? That's 5, right?
Jammin' Lewis, Babyface, Teddy Riley, that's 4. Okay.
Quincy Jones, Jammin' Lewis, LA Face, Teddy Riley. 4. One more. I'm stuck now because those people are the reasons why I do music.
Okay, top 4 is good though. I mean, you name.
Those are the main reasons why I produce today.
After that, I think just those 4, they've influenced everybody that we probably see today.
Yeah. So I have to say that because I have to go by what inspired me to do what I do. Mm-hmm. And in the beginning, it was them.
Mm-hmm. Dope. So Troy, my last question I always ask everyone who joined me, what do you want your legacy to be?
I want my legacy to be that people looked at me as someone that gave people a chance to express their creativity, their artistry, their talent. I want to be known for someone who helped others and listened to them and spent time helping create, crafting their talent and their gifts. I want to be known as someone who helped people master the gift. Yeah.
Dope. Super dope. And you're doing that. I like what you're doing on Instagram. You're giving out free game. You got your master class. And, I see a lot of people charging people for game these days. And you're literally uploading on social media and giving people free game.
Because look, so check it, right? So the gems that I give, they're still elaborating on there's still another part to it. I'm only doing like a minute of that. There's still a whole nother part of each gem that I give. There's still a whole nother discussion on each one. So I'm giving you a little bit, but I can still do a masterclass off of the gems alone and still elaborate on them. So I'm not really doing number one. Number two, this information that I have from experience is not mine to sell. Period. How dare I? I didn't buy this. I experienced it. I didn't buy it, but it's not mine for me to sell it to someone else. No one sold it to me. I experienced it. You're going to still have to experience it for yourself. Right. I'm going to tell you what I experienced. I'm going to tell you what it is and what it could be. And you still have to go your path and see for yourself. So why am I selling it? I understand a lot of my peers are like, yo, man, you nigga, you be giving out a lot of information. I'm like, yeah, and I'm still learning new information. So I'm not doing anything with this information. So here, in order for the music to be the way we need it to be, we have to teach. We have to pull instruct. I can't expect people to be, I can't be mad because they don't do bridges if I don't teach niggas how to do bridges.
And it's like, right, we all got to leave this earth someday. So it's like, why die holding on to all this information where you could have helped someone?
By the way, the whole point of having a gift is not for you anyway. Mm-hmm. It's for you to share and help others. Absolutely. God did not expect us to wallow in it for ourselves. He gave it to us for us to help others. So if you're not doing that, it's no matter how successful you are, it's all in vain.
Right. Selfish.
Selfish and greedy. Yes. And they're going nowhere with it. Because in the end of the day, Karma, she is fine. She's pretty. She's beautiful. She's real. She's lovely. She's so sweet. She's so kind. Yo, she will get you. Best believe she will get you. And it's like, I want God to know that he could trust me with the blessings he gives me. So I am a blessing to be a blessing.
Amen. Man, Troy, thank you, man. Thank you so much for everything you have given to the culture. Thank you for everything you've delivered over and over again. You tonight, through this conversation, I'm pretty sure some people have been inspired through you and just hearing you talk and hearing you share these stories and your experience and keeping it all the way real and not holding back. This was set for a 30-minute conversation. I love organic conversations, and the reason why, this is the thing. I've had real organic conversations, and I've had managers, people that work with them, like, we gotta wrap it up, and you gotta cut things short, and you gotta hurry up and and be done with the conversation. And I always tell people the purpose of my show is to inspire. It's to inspire people right here and getting the information direct, where it's not cut, it's not filtered, and just doing it for love, right? Out of the love. It's just like so. Whenever somebody says, "Yo, what's the time frame?" I always just say 30 minutes because I know that's a fair number to say, and however it goes. But just thank you for taking your time out and really being dedicated, and joining for this conversation. I've been looking forward to it for a minute.
Thank you.
And thank you for everything you continue to do for R&B. And I know that we inspired some people through this conversation. You are truly the GOAT. Giving you your flowers while you're here, showing you much love and appreciation for you. And I know that you got much more work to do. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm just getting started.
You got much more work to do. And your name is still ringing bells out here. And like you said, with the power of social media, people are really seeing who you are and what you continue to do. And thank you for the post. Every day I go to your page to see what you post.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Every day I go to your page and see what you post. And yes, some of those clips might be a minute long and stuff like that, but it's a lot of knowledge.
Thank you.
And if you're able to kind of pick something up, you can literally pick that up and say, okay, well, what do you mean by this? All right, let me go ahead and do my research. Mm-hmm. It sparks that light bulb. You know what I mean? So thank you for continuing to inspire generations of artists and producers. And there's nothing else I can say but thank you for your time and your grace, my brother.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. If you missed any part of the conversation with Troy Taylor, it will be available tomorrow at 12 p.m. wherever you get your podcast. You can check it out if you missed any part of this tonight. And my brother, you stay safe out there. And we will talk soon, man.
Sir, thank you.
Any last words you want to tell people?
Yeah. So Shay Jennifer, Devin Culture, Vaughn Waters. Those are my specific artists. I am still working on Trey. I'm just waiting on him. Upstairs, he's an artist. These are my surroundings. These are my specific surroundings. I think Nigo was in here. He's one of my proteges as well. But these particular artists, watch out for them, listen out for them. I'm putting out music with Shade all the time. Devin Culture,
Follow him. He's dope.
yeah,
He's dope.
Devin Culture is amazing. So I definitely want to mention those and put them on the radar. I should have said it when it was 500 something people.
But what I also